All right, team, what's going on? I am stoked to take you through our lead coach clearance evaluation. Anna's here. I'm Vass. I'm from the athletics team and the district manager of LAOC. Anna is the head of our athletics team. So we want to go through our lead coach clearance evaluation, the intro and demo portion. And listen, I know this is 5 minutes of your class, and the focus really should be on your one-on-one coaching. But a great demo, just chef's kiss, sets you up for success. So let's really take in what we can learn today to elevate the demo intro experience. Think of this as a class of 5-year-olds. And how would you approach it differently if it was 27 5-year-olds looking at you? I think that's a really great external cue to think about because you will show up a little bit differently. And it's that enthusiasm, that precise verbiage that will really help the audience watching you retain some of that information. Places, everyone. So the couple things for you to think about are, where are you standing and where is your demo coach standing? Now, we're going to explore this in lots of detail today. Next, to listen up. Why does number 3 look like a blue track? Interesting. Fascinating point, right? Everyone should be on the blue track listening because it is time to go. Let's practice what to look for. Well, number 1, I think I got some of it today. Energy, right? How does it sound? If we were talking to a class of 5-year-olds, how would you sound? And I say this, and I know Anna also has her teaching degree. I do as well. When I taught 4-year-olds, JK, we got to add some oomph to the vocals. Number 2, how are we moving in this space as the lead coach talking and as the demo coach? And expression. How are we making people feel about what we're presenting them vocally and what they're seeing physically with our bodies? So let's start with energy, right? We're going to think of what are some qualities that describe energy? Because it can be a very vague term. If you were thinking in your head, clear, projection, enunciation. And listen, I mess up all the time. I stumble on a word. I'm like, what did I just say? My voice cracks all the time. I'm in my 30s. Still hitting puberty. Whatever happens, I just make light of it. So you do your best to make sure you're projecting. We have the microphone, so you don't need to be screaming, but still giving a very clear tone and really enunciating what you are trying to communicate. Enthusiastic. Well, we are presenting this workout for you. It should feel like we brought this workout to you, and we are so excited for you to crush it today with these movements. And intentional. That's a 2-part thing for me, right? There's focus. We only have those little bit of time to explain each station, which then comes with preparedness. Did you review the exercises? Did you set yourself up for success to give a very concise, clear, projected, positive, enthusiastic intro? Coming on over to the movement side. How are we moving in this space and what does that look like? Rhythmic is the first one. There's flow. You're working cohesively with your partner when there's 2 of you. It should feel like the 2 of you prepared each station and are bringing it to the class. Interactive, there's touch points, either self with the demo, depending which model we're working. And we will get into a lot of detail with this one. And then friendly, which I love. I love naming the coach I'm working with. I love that Anna's elbows are coming up past her ribs. Great job. Look at Anna's great form. I love her flat back here. I always go into that mode. And it's twofold. You say that coach's name, so if there are new folks, they remember. And it makes the demo coach feel great. I know when someone says they love things I'm doing, I'm like, my God, thank you. Thanks for telling me I have good form. So it's a good reminder. And it's also a good way in the moment for you to actually adjust the demo coach if their form isn't necessarily what is on the screen and what we're trying to present for the day. Right? Sometimes all of us, and I do it too, do something maybe that isn't correct. But if my partner is really in flow with me and we're working together with our touch points, they could adjust me in real time to have me position my joints, my muscles where they need to be. And lastly, expression. Confident, not only with your voice, what is your body saying? We could express in lots of ways, but those 2 really stand out in the intro and demo. Animated, put my picture in the dictionary next to animated. Expressions and gestures, right? So as we work our way through, what are we saying and what are we doing to help kind of bring up that energy? And then comfortable, your poise, your control, which kind of brings everything in together. If we're prepared, if we're focused, if we're positive, if we have good body positioning, that control and that poise will be built in. So we are now going to move into some live demos that we've recorded for you to watch. There's going to be every range of our intro and demo. While we watch these, we want you to listen, vocal tones, watch what are the body, the hands, the eyes doing, and feel. If you were the member taking that class, how would you feel about what was just presented to you? Do I feel confident? Am I confused? Do I not think that those two are trainers? And now I'm going to break my back in this class, which we do not want. But let's see intro demo number 1.
Hey team, what's up? Welcome back to F45 Boston North End. I'm Christina. I'm here with Lydia. Today we're going to be talking you through 50-50.
I want you all to take a second and think about what we just asked. Cue the Jeopardy music or something. Okay, so things that I noticed that stick out. There was some vocal tone. There was some enthusiasm in the voice. However, eyes were looking down at the phone 80% of the time. The demo coach was like awkwardly standing next to the lead coach. It didn't feel cohesive to me. It felt that it lacked preparedness. It lacked confidence. It lacked direction. And I would be a little unsure of my safety in the class.
50 is going to be our strength and resistance workout. You're going to have 4 sets at that station, 1 lap all the way through, 10 stations around the room, and then your timing, you're going to have 45 seconds on, and then 40 seconds, and then 30, and then 25. Okay, we're going to go ahead and start our demo.
Okay, great. So I'll start with a couple things that I would want to keep, but still build upon. I did like that she at least was numbering what we were doing. The visual cue helped. Like, okay, we're doing 1 of these, 3 of these things. I don't know what they were, but 1 and 3. Are the instructors clear? Could I repeat that back to you right now? No, I don't know what we're doing other than I remember the 1 and 3. Like we're doing 1 of something and 3 of something else. Like that's all I got. There was a lot of pausing and ums and confusion. Those filler words to me are that this person does not really know what's going on. Did the coach seem happy to be there? Meh. A 3 out of 10 on my scale. Like, fine, they're doing the job. But to me, can't we just press play on the TV and just let the TV do the job? Is that adding to the class in any way? What was the body doing? They both were very static. The demo coach had her hands playing with her hands almost the whole time. The lead coach was on the phone, looking down a lot, didn't feel very open or inviting. Do you feel safe trying something new? A 3 on that scale for me. Same with the excitement for the workout. Just a little like lackluster. Yes, information was communicated, but not in any conducive way that stuck with me as the member. It made me feel excited to take this class. I would rather go join studio down the street at this point, from the engagement that I'm getting from the employees that work there, that are leading this brand and this experience. If they're not happy to be there, why should I be happy to be there?
Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to F45 Boston North End. My name is Coach Christina. I'm here with Coach Lydia. Today we'll be taking you guys through 50-50, our Thursday split resistance workout. Now team, how today is going to work is we are going to have 10 stations laid out around the room in a ball letter style format. That means you're going to go from station 1 to 2, all the way through to 10, back to 1 if you have not hit it already. Now, with that timing team, you guys are going to have 4 sets at that station, 1 lap all the way through that room. Those 4 sets start with that timing. You're starting with your longest set at 45 seconds of work, working your way down for the next 3 sets. So 45, 40, 35, your last set will be 25 seconds. So decreasing in that time.
So much better. Look at that improvement. Good job, Coach Christina. So some of the positive things: we had the energy, we had the enthusiasm, we had the confidence, we had the control. We're doing 4 sets. I clearly heard each set timing. I understood the workout. They were both thrilled to be there with their enthusiasm and their vocal range and resonance into the mic. Their hands were in front of them or on their side. Their body was open, and I would now feel safe with them leading the class and excited to take it.
Margaret is over at station 1. We've got those push-ups over there, diamond push-ups.
Okay, let's discuss. Yes, the movement was being discussed and demoed. However, what was the distance between the 2 trainers? There was a lot of it, that's for sure. And what I find in this moment is, as the audience member, I'm listening to the voice. I'm watching the voice. My eyes are directed, my attention, despite where they're standing, I am watching them. They are very removed from the person doing the demo that I should be watching for my safety in the class. So is there a world in which we can marry those two things together, bring that cohesion to make it feel like this class was presented from these two individuals together?
So adjust those hands, and you can always come down to the knees if you want to.
Okay, good. Watching it looks very divided. Key thing here, the lead coach gave a regression, which was great. If you need to drop on your knees, you can. However, the demo coach was long gone to the next station, did not listen to the cue, and on to the next before they were ready to actually move. And that's really important. And that's part of the cohesion in the team element, where you need to be very aware of the lead coach talking so you can listen actively and adjust accordingly. And that will really add that flow and that energy and that pace that we are looking for.
Station number 2, making sure you have dumbbells. Here we're thinking about bicep curls, so you're just going to curl those biceps and then put them back down.
I pray that this is not happening in real life. Everything I just said about all the other things from this clip, let's add in, what is the demo coach doing? What did we notice about the demo coach?
Station number 2, making sure you have dumbbells. Here we're thinking about bicep curls, so you're just going to curl those biceps and then put them back down.
Love it. So that is everything I would tell someone not to do if I was coaching someone. Now, there is a world in which, as the lead coach, if that was happening in real time, I would be able to adjust the demo coach and correct the form positively, still making them look like a pro and providing the proper technique and form for that exercise. I would be next to that person. I would tell them to pause, and I'm going to have them keep their elbows pinned to their seam of their shirt without moving this part of their arm, and bring the dumbbell up to their shoulder. And I would then make a joke that we were just showing you what not to do and what we see all day. This is really what we want you to do. In that way, it keeps in a positive mode. We corrected in real time, and we made sure we presented the most accurate technique and form.
Our upper body, we're gonna have that bent over row. So hinging over at those hips, you're gonna notice that Coach Lydia's gonna start standing up. Hinging over, back is completely flat. That elbow is going to graze just right up by that rib. Slowly lower right back down with that control, keeping those hips and those shoulders nice and square.
Love it. A lot of the things I would fix were fixed. First thing to point out, Christina was right next to Lydia. She said her name again, which helped me remember it. Got on floor level, pointed to exactly what she was talking about. Look at her flat back right here with that hinge of her hip. Her elbows are coming up past her rib cage, pointing, right? It looks like the two of them were a team bringing you this station and explaining you the best form possible. Some small adjustments, and I know we all do this, is that we demo the exercise next to them. So I would implore everyone, right? Even in this, there was a moment or two where Coach Christina still demonstrated the elbows and the back pinching together right next to her demo coach doing it, where I would say, you know what, they're right here. I'm going to point to every single thing I want people to notice. Instead of me doing it, I'm going to use the person doing it in front of me. It's a challenge because all of our brains are so used to doing it the other way. So it just takes repetition. You got to get those neural pathways to rebuild of doing it the right way, which is just practice. Hone in on that demo coach, put all your energy onto them as if you were using the coach on the screen. If you were a solo coach, you would do the same thing. Do it in real life as well.
On station 5, we have the incline chest press. You want to keep the core tight, your feet drilled into the floor. Those elbows come all the way down, and you just press right on up.
Okay, great. I talked about some of the things. Yes, I was close to Leanne. We stayed in close proximity, I would say. However, very unsure what I was talking about. Was staring at the TV screen with lots of filler words. And my cues were bad at best. Like basic, does not at all highlight what that exercise should focus on. Okay. Keep core tight, which I know a lot of us say is an important cue. I think that's a cue we should leave for our one-on-one moments, because on a chest press, that is not the most important thing. And when you only got 10 seconds, We want to keep it clean, concise, specific, so we can present it with our confidence, our poise, our focus, and make sure people leave that intro demo feeling excited and comfortable that they can execute all stations with these two coaches helping them. Let's see the adjustments I made.
5, you have the incline chest press, one of my favorites. I always like to focus on my shoulder blades. Pause here in the back of the end. You want to rotate those shoulder blades back and down into the bench. When you push up, you're squeezing through. Okay, you really want to feel that in that center of that chest. I love how Leanne has a 45-degree angle with her elbows in relation to her hip. So right here, she's coming down on that angle, getting that big squeeze as she presses up. Yes, girl.
Yeah.
This is Leanne and I teach every Thursday together. Come to our class. It's a vibe, right? Guess I have to talk myself up, so I'm going to do it. But the energy's there. I said things I love about this exercise. I talked about Leanne's great form. And when I wanted to point out something specific, I asked the demo coach to pause so I could take that extra 5 seconds to point out what I want the class today to focus on at this station. And there was 2 things. There was the rotation back of your shoulders into the bench, right? Your antagonist behind your chest that's going to support as you give that big push. And the second thing I pointed out was the angle of your elbow in relation to your hip on that 45-degree angle. Why that's important for our chest press is that it allows that full extension of that chest, that stretch. And in that stretch of all of our movements is where we tear those muscle fibers. Once we tear our muscle fibers and we have lots of protein, they're going to rebuild. And that's going to help our members see more results. And that's why I focus on those 2 things. I want to make sure they are maximizing their time at that station. And I'm highlighting the proper specific form of this exercise so they can get the most out of it with high energy and enthusiasm. And I hope that people would be excited to take my class after that.
Station 2, we have a Romanian deadlift the barbell. Leanne's going to hinge her hips on the side here, and she's going to squeeze her glutes to come right on up. Her shoulders are back. She has a nice flat back as she hinges back, squeezing those glutes up.
Okay, we kept a lot of the good qualities that we want, right? There's energy. I'm still very close to her. However, do you feel your attention pull to me demoing next to the demo coach? I did, watching it, doing the exercise right next to the person doing the exercise. I know when I say it like that, it sounds bizarre, because why would you do that? But our brains are just so used to it that we do it. But I'm hoping that this is a clear example of why we should focus our energy on the person there that is in charge of the demo, that is their role, and highlight every single possible thing you can about their movement.
I love how Leanne is just sending her hips backwards in this stretched position. She's squeezing her glutes right here. That contraction is bringing her hip forward. Her back is nice and flat. The barbell side is nice and close to her legs. And she's getting that big, big squeeze as she comes up, drilling her heels into the floor.
Right. I would tell myself to speak a little bit slower. I was just very excited, obviously. And I could maybe enunciate a bit better. However, let's highlight the other positive things. If we compare those 2 we just saw, the energy was equivalent in both. However, the attention and the focus that the second one gave, we were able to really look at that movement and hear and see what I was talking about. We saw the flat back. I always, for some reason, do this about squeezing my hands, right? She squeezes her glutes, right? It is just a little visual cue. We have every type of learner in the class, right? So I try to add a little bit of everything. So for those visual people, doing little motions like that do help. It is something that they will see and remember. And I try to talk as much about the important things as possible, right? You can only focus on a few things. But as you noticed for this demo, I didn't talk about her shoulders being back. She didn't talk about her embracing her core, because they're just fillers for what this exercise needs. This is a hinge movement, right? Think of what are the biggest errors or fixes you need to make in class for people thinking it's a squat. So I highlight what foundational movement are we operating in. It's a hinge, because your hips go back and forward. And I always hear you squeeze your glutes at the top, which is not correct. You want to squeeze your glutes in the bottom when your glute is stretched, right? Like we talked about in that chest press. That's where you want to squeeze. That contraction of your glute stretch is what's going to make you stand up. That way, we're not putting the pressure in the back. They should be feeling it in their glutes and their hamstrings. And from those elements should be getting the most out of that exercise that they possibly can.
For your timing, you're gonna have 2 laps around your pod. The time is gonna change for each. Your first lap through, you're gonna do 60 seconds of work with 30 seconds to transition to that next station. On your second lap, you're gonna have 2 sets, 30 seconds each, with just a quick 10-second shakeout in between, and then 15 seconds to go from station to station. We'll have a little water break after those 2 laps, and then we'll do that same rotation for all 6 pods. All right? Turning attention to Anya, she's gonna show us our movements at 1A. We're starting at the ski erg. She's gonna line her pinky toe up right where that bar meets the platform, extending the arms all the way to the top of the machine. As she goes up to the toes, heels come down, the hips go back as she pulls past the thigh. For station 1B, stepping forward, we have explosive step ups. So the one foot is gonna be planted firmly onto the opposite knee up into the chest, using that arm for momentum. Always feel free to take up that explosiveness just for a standard step up here. Beautiful. For station 1C, you're gonna grab onto a medicine ball. We're gonna do Russian twist here. This is ab work. So notice her legs are super still. The only thing that's rotating is that torso. She's following the ball with her eyes from hip to head. Always an option to lower those feet and make them a little bit easier on that lower back. Alright, that's our first pod, it's our cardio pod. Resistance pod starting out at 280. We're gonna grab 2 dumbbells, we're gonna come onto the incline bench press. Notice her rotation in the wrist. So at the top, the palms are facing towards each other, and then at the bottom, she's opening up. Those elbows come just below the shoulders, and then a big powerful push right back up. Station 2B, we're gonna grab another pair of dumbbells. 2 different parts or 3 different parts of this movement here. We're gonna start with a little swing, right? The hips go back up to the shoulders, and then she's gonna land in a squat. So again, swing up, hips come towards the heels. Think about sitting back into an imaginary chair. For 2C, our next core movement, we're gonna come onto the balance chair onto your forearms. So she's gonna get those forearms right on that F45 symbol, keeping the hips right in line with the shoulders. That knee is gonna come up right to her tricep. We wanna get as much range of motion as we can. Gorgeous, Anya. That's our second pod. Our third pod in the back of her station 3A. We're on the rowers. So she's gonna hook her feet nice and tightly into the straps. Order of operations here is legs, core, arms. Arms, core, legs as we come forward. So again, she's driving to that lower body, pulling that handlebar into the sternum. Station 3B, stepping forward, you're gonna go onto a dead ball. You're gonna bring us into your chest. We're gonna start with a nice low squat. So keeping those collarbones to the ceiling, your hips to heels as we come up. She's playing catch with herself. And as soon as she's right back down to the squat, option to just take this to an overhead press. Remove the throw. Just bring it up overhead. For station 3C, we're gonna come down onto the mat. She's gonna glue her lower back down to the mat. Ooh, frog stance here. As she reaches to tap her toes, those knees are gonna go out wide. Again, the whole time really pushing that lower back down. You can even hear her breathing. That breath is gonna give you power here through that move. All right, for pod 4, the mat minimum at 4A, you're gonna grab 2 pedals, palms facing towards you. She's snapping her hips directly over the feet. This is a hinge movement. Those hips are gonna go straight back. She's trying to stretch. And then hamstrings and the glutes as we push through the feet to come all the way back up to stand. For 4B, another kettlebell movement here. We're gonna go for a single kettlebell. Gauntlet stance, that means it's upside down right in the center of her chest. Her feet are slightly wider than her distance apart. We're gonna make it a pulse. So she's staying nice and low, about 3 inches up, 3 inches down, really firing up those glutes and quads, breathing the whole time. Station 4C, onto the track. You're gonna start by rolling the ball off of its rack here, coming into a plank position. Take your time getting set up. You wanna find that balance and control. Her shoulders are right over the wrist, driving things up into the chest. The hips stay right in line with those shoulders the entire time. If we need to, we have sliders right next to the ball here, and we can do that same exact movement, just with our feet on those beautiful sliders instead of the ball. Awesome. For pod 5, all the way in the back there, we're gonna start out on the bikes. All right, we are seated today, so start by adjusting that seat to your hip bone using this lever in the back. Hands are going to be on those lower handlebars. Her chest is nice and open. Her eyes are going to be straight forward, pedaling like we're going somewhere. Station 5B, we're going to start by getting both feet into those boxes, and then we're going to make a nice Z shape. Notice as she comes out to the outside of the box, she's going to tap the floor. So in, up, out, in, back, out. Awesome. Station 5C, we're moving plank, coming into that high plank position to start. Hips right leg with the shoulders right over those hands. So one at a time, she's going to come down to the elbow and pushing through that hand as she comes back up. Notice that core stays nice and tight. Always an option to come to your knees if we need to make that a little bit easier on the spine. Last pod, guys, this one's going to be fully horizontal. We're starting up on the track. We're going to stay on the track. All right, we're using those back muscles here. She's going to open up those dumbbells nice and wide. All right, the soft bend in the elbow stays nice and soft the entire time. Squeezing those shoulder blades and then controlling it on the way down. Station 6B, you're gonna grab 2 wide elbows. I'm gonna come down towards your hips. We're gonna pendulum lunge. So that means you're gonna stay on one foot. So that foot that's moving is gonna come all the way forward, and that same foot is gonna come all the way back. So we're really balancing on that center foot. For that first lap, do 30 seconds on your right, 30 on your left. That second lap, you're gonna do 1 set on your right, 1 set on your left. Last foot, I'm gonna kind of widen out the climber so that foot is coming all the way to the outside of her hand. And then after time, she's gonna go for 2 shoulder taps. Notice how still her hips are. They're not wobbling back and forth. So again, 10 alternate options to step here if we need to lower that impact or drop to your knees for those shoulder taps. Clap it up for Coach Leah! That was such a beautiful demo. Find yourself a little bit of space here where she's gonna come around and give you a station number to get started at.
All right, Anna, way to crush it. So many stations. The energy from the top is there. You can trust that Anna is going to make sure you're safe in that class. And that was just from her explaining the class to me. I got that energy. I was like, okay, she knows what she's talking about. She was clear, concise. I understood the workout, and it allowed me to build that trust in her just from the way that she spoke about what we were about to embark on. A note for everyone, the demo coach should always be ready at station 1. Weights ready to go because we only have such short time, but they should be ready with their weights in hand to start as soon as you say at station 1. The flow was perfect. Anna would just move into the next station as the demo person was putting away their dumbbells or weights from the previous station and begin talking about it as the person then arrives to demo it, right? We don't need to wait. Station 1, where you have this, blah, 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 blah. And now you're waiting for the demo coach to go to station 2 for you to go, okay, station 2, right? You can bleed it together. It will allow you some extra time to talk about things about the exercise that you want to communicate. They were very in sync, right? And now I will talk about those moments where Anna was a little bit further and or doing some of the movements next to her. She was. Anytime Anna did it, if you watch, she's fully in sync with the demo coach. Even when she did the step-up arm, it was in perfect timing with when the other coach did the step-up arm. Anytime Anna was demonstrating, she was doing it the exact same time. The swings, she did the same time. So visually, it didn't distract me. It highlighted the swing. I remember those 2 moments because they were perfectly in sync. I was like, oh, wow, it actually stood out for me. So if you could do it that way, power to you. Like A+. Like it made me remember those movements over the other ones. There were moments that I found that the demo coach also kind of led, where she was already a step ahead and dropped down on her knees for a push-up. And then Anna was like, if you need an option, you could always drop down, which helped Anna go through the demo and keep that flow and then working together. So it does go both ways. The demo coach should be prepared and understand which regressions and modifications to give, can do them in real time, and the lead coach can then add in, and vice versa, right? Anna could say, oh, and then we're going to drop on our knees, and the demo coach should drop on their knees. But it can work both ways. So take the power as a demo coach to know when you need to regress something and provide that modification, and trust that your lead coach is prepared and they will communicate that properly, which I thought was amazing. Yeah, and then lastly, all I would say is, can we give 10% more attention to the demo coach? Yes, I think there were some stations that we can just be really right next to them and be in there. However, still A+ to me. If this is what we're offering, it's a pretty great product, and I would love to take that class and feel fully confident that it was going to be a fun, enjoyable, the energy was high, they were laughing with each other and communicating, and it made you feel like they loved to be working together, they loved to be teaching this class, they were smiling, they were having a good time doing the demo. It made me relax and be like, okay, this is going to be a fun class, right? Yes, I don't know a lot of these exercises, but like they're having fun, everyone's smiling, everyone's in a good mood, like I'm here for it. And that should really be our model moving forward. That's kind of where we want everyone to get to. And I know we highlighted some of the things that we see, and we brought those in because we do see that, right? Some of those other examples that weren't as polished as this last one. It's not that they're wrong or bad. It's just we want to elevate the experience, right? The information is being communicated, but there is just different ways in which to communicate them more effectively. So if you're watching this and you really resonated with the coaches that were separate and you were in the middle, the one coach in the middle of the room, the other coach doing the demos weirdly, like, okay, just have that awareness that that's your starting point, and go back, rewatch this, make your point form notes of everything that you're going to steal from this video and inject into your demos. And I promise you, all these little things matter and members will notice. I did a little workshop a couple of weeks ago with the studio. We went over a lot of these elements. And the one thing I love in like any high plank, any push-up, is to discuss the joint placement. So your wrist should be under your elbow, under your shoulder, and pointing that out on your demo coach, right? We see a lot of the lean back where people just aren't actually in full alignment yet. And that's with your mountain climbers. That's with your anything that you're starting in that high plank. And there was this in this demo, you drop down to your elbows. It is very helpful visually when you point to each of those joints and say your wrist should be under your elbow, under your shoulder in this straight line. And that was one thing that one of the trainers then reached out. I was like, I used that in my demo. I had like 3 people after class tell me how effective that was. What are the key things of this movement? In a plank, that is a key thing. You want to make sure you're in a straight line. Your back isn't like caving. We're in West Hollywood. So I'm like, you guys are not twerking at the bar. Tuck it in. Not today, not in my class. And people will remember those little things. And that's why I say like the filler, I don't think I ever heard once embrace your core, roll your shoulders back in Anna's 1800 station demo. So if you find yourself using those words or those phrases, yes, we need to do those 100%. In your one-on-one moments, remind people, take a big deep breath in, exhale on the exertion, okay? In the demo, focus on that movement specific qualities that are going to make it the most effective and make it different than your squat. Because we could say, roll your shoulders back, embrace your core for both your chest press and squat, and then move on. We did not hit any of the key elements of those movements. If you just heard those 2 things back to back and weren't watching, you would have no idea what exercise we're doing. Anna's laughing because it's true. But love it. Love all those demos. Whichever one you resonate with, great. It's a starting point. Bring the awareness to it. And how can you elevate yourself? And now, as a solo coach, right, your best show might just be solo. We have a lot of that in our studios. Now with the mic, we're able to really reach the masses. For those that have only worked with the mic, there used to be a time we'd have to scream all of this over music, over people, during class, screaming. Now we have the luxury of a microphone. Only our studios do, because we're the best. So just because you don't have a demo coach doesn't mean you can't do a lot of what we just discussed. You sure as heck know that I'm hyping up those athletes on the screen the same way that I'm hyping up Coach Anna next to me. And you could still use all the cues and yourself if you are moving throughout the room as it goes on, and then you grab everyone's focus to you on those 2 or 3 a little more complex stations and you demo it yourself and you're talking about the movements. We still can use visual cues as we go through the demo as a solo coach. And just remember that you are in charge. It is your class. You are bringing it to the masses. You are leading the energy and how people are going to feel as soon as you start talking. The scripts are boring. They are. But I think from what we've seen, bring yourself to it and make it feel as if the 2 of you or you yourself curated this workout today to bring to your class. It helps make that impression. And the intro is really the one time on the mic that you get to show some of your personality. If you have any little jokes, it's not Comedy Central hour, but you heard me say some little jokes that I twist in there when I can. And it just helps people remember you as a coach and want to come back to your class. And the TVs are just an accessory. They don't control the class. Earlier, I talked about we can just press play and they could control the class. But that's why we hired you, because we want to see your personality and your interpretation and your energy to lead this room, because we have so much faith and trust in you as a coach. So team, I can't wait to hear about your intros and demos and the feedback that you're going to get from your members, because I have seen it in action and I promise you it's going to elevate your class.